everyone, Ashley here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. So, today I wanted to talk about the concept that just because you feel differently than other people, that makes you incorrect. So, a thing that I noticed in relationships, whether that is any type of relationship, right, is that when people have arguments, instead of trying to actually communicate and come to a balanced resolution, that we're taught to drive or point across to the other person, right? So we're taught to where it's like a competitive, my opinion, right? So what happens when you have two people who are taught to where you're just trying to compete for the concept, the idea, no, my idea is better, my idea, right? You're going to have miscommunication, right? That relationship is never going to work out because you're not hearing each other. And it doesn't matter what type of relationship it is. One person, both people have to be willing to understand that there's going to be moments where that other person doesn't perceive, doesn't feel, and doesn't see the scenario the way that you do. But it's about finding the middle ground, the viewpoint of where you can both be like, okay, well, I seen the situation like this. This is what happened to me, right? Now you tell me what happened to you. And we can both open and understand why and come to a conclusion, rather than just trying to beat the other person program, go, no, you have to see it my way, right? Because as long as you are doing that, all it is going to do is cause more argumentative energy, more chaos energy. And once again, nothing is ever going to get resolved because it's just literally two people competing to have the better concept, to have the better viewpoint, to where, my idea, my view of this was more important, or my view of this is the more, logical one. But at the same time, again, is that who's to say that my opinion is any better than yours, right? Like, you can watch my videos, you can listen to what I have to say, but at the end of the day, if you don't agree, you don't agree. I ain't gonna shove my opinions down your throat and tell you have to abide by them or live by them. That's just not who I am. So I kind of realized that was like one of the things that I seen as a child, that where nobody could communicate around me, is that when there was a problem, there was fear. And see, when you get brought up in a household where there's no communication, people can't actually talk, to where it's just scream festing, or to where it is, the dominance of my opinion is more, it has to be my way, right? Well, that's not fair to anyone. That's not fair to the man, that's not fair to the woman, that's not fair to whoever it is in whatever relationship, to where it's one-sided, right? It's not fair. Because a true relationship in any form is where two people can communicate and understand each other. You might not always agree. Oh, you got my baby. You might not always agree, but you can come to an agreement, right? It might not be viewing the same way, but the fact is that you can step out of your perspective and put yourself in that person's shoes and say, okay, I don't feel this, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible to feel. And another thing is being raised where I was taught that my emotions were wrong. I always struggled with, what you would call the harder emotions, when I was sad, when I just, when life just felt boring, or life just felt nothing was happening. Because I lived in such an environment where there was so much chaoticness. When you finally get to a spot where there's peace, your body, your nervous system is not comfortable in that. So it will try to take you back to what it is used to. Not that you want it, but that is what your nervous system is used to. It doesn't fear what it is used to, whether that is chaos, drama, fighting, or not, right? You are used to it. You have to make a conscious choice and be aware of why your mind, your nervous system is feeling more comfortable in the chaotic than it is in when nothing is happening. So when I first started having like peace, where like nothing was going on, nothing was like going on in my life, literally my body would react and I would shake. I would literally just set and shake. And my mind would sit there and I would get this feeling of impending doom. That's the best way that I can explain it, because my nervous system got so used to anytime something was quiet, that's when the shoe would drop or the drama would happen. Because as a child, if something was peaceful, that's when my abuser would make it hell. If you had a birthday, if you had a holiday, if you had something special, you can guarantee that motherfucker was gonna cause a fight. So anything that was supposed to be wonderful, peaceful, your body will get used to it. So literally the moment that like you sit to watch a TV show or something like that, literally you would never know what was going to happen. A toaster go flying, a dog break out in fights, and that's what people don't understand. I literally grew up in a household where we had so many dogs, they were inbred, and they fought each other. You could be literally sitting on the couch and one dog would get up and start attacking the other dog, and it would not be like a little snip. I'm talking about full on, like where you would pay to see dogs fighting and they're not stopping, and they would do it like on top of you. So for the longest time I had a lot of fear about having more than one dog, but luckily my little guys have helped me a lot with that once they get along. And then recently someone gave me a kitten. I took the kitten in, and I wasn't sure exactly how that was going to go at first with my two little guys, but they love her, so hey, that's all that matters. She's a feisty little thing. She keeps clawing the crap out of them every time they walk by, but she's very hyper. She keeps waking me up in the middle of the night by jumping on my head. She keeps sleeping up here on the windowsill, and then in the middle of the night she'll jump down and wake me up, and I'm like, really? Bassett? That's her name. She's ow! See what I mean? Jumping on my head. Bassett, that was mean. She's named after the Egyptian goddess. Because she's all black and she has green, beautiful eyes. But she's a sweetheart. What do you think? Little cutie pie. Ear up there. Bassett, what is it doing? What's my baby doing? And Cash is getting mad. Guess I'm gun. And guess he is it get something. Oh, ham it up. Oh, who's the most handsomest wiener? Say I am. Look, he's getting gray. He's turned into a silver fox. He's turned into a silver fox. You don't want to be a silver fox. Well, why not? You don't want to get older? Oh, be nice. Be nice. But I realize this, that like, I think one of the biggest things in society is that we're punished for how we feel. It's not so much about how you perceive, like how you think about an event. It's about the feeling. Because people will attack you for if they think that you felt a scenario wrong. Like, let's say, okay, you're around someone, right? And this person likes to joke, right? Well, you get some people who like to use you as the butt of the joke, right? Well, that's not fun. I mean, we can all make jokes about ourselves once in a while, but to sit there and use someone as the butt of the joke all the time and make fun of everything about them, well, of course that's going to end up hurting that person's feeling. That's how I see it, right? And from the people I've been around. So let's say someone's around you and they make you the joke, right? Well, you have every right to not like that. It's you. Do you see what I'm saying? But the world at the same time is like, you need to get over it. Joke is a joke. I understand that. But each one of us is our own person. And you can't tell someone that they are not allowed the feelings that they feel. Because when you tell your brain, and when you tell your body, when you tell your mind that you are wrong for the feeling that you have, that feeling you will not be able to accept. And every time that feeling comes up in your body, you will feel guilty, you will feel shame, you will feel wrong, and you won't be able to accept that part of you. And when you can't accept a part of you, right, it's fragmented, right? So it keeps recreating a form of trauma until you learn why the trauma is there. So you understand what needs healed. And what needs healed is just the realization that your feelings are not wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you feel. I don't care if the whole goddamn planet says that you're wrong for feeling what you're feeling. You are a human being, and nobody can tell you that your feelings are wrong. You are human. That is the biggest concept that we need to understand, that everybody has the right to their feelings. And trying to tell someone your feelings of a scenario is incorrect isn't. That alone is not. Bassett, why are you eating my food? This little cat, man, I tell you what, she tries to steal everything of mine. Cakes, donuts. No, I'm kidding. I actually eat some things that are not sweets. Today I tried something new. I bought this bourbon, what is it? Bourbon maple honey sauce, and I put it on red meat and with garlic and onions and a bunch of cheese, and it's kind of like a bourbon cheeseburger. And I broke it up. I have trouble eating because of my gastric bypass and other things, so I have to break everything down into real. Will you stop eating my food? Will you? Hey, you see her? She's trying to steal my food. Look at this. This is a cat, and she's trying to steal my hamburger, my cheeseburger, whatever you want to say. She was trying to steal a donut earlier. I'm like, come on. Stop stealing mommy's food. You already ate your chicken. I make them chicken, and they still try to steal my food. I don't like to give my dogs dog food because I feel like that's processed shit. So I bake them chicken, boil them chicken actually. It's easy. You just throw chicken in a pan with some water and it boils right up, and then you bake it. 1, 2, 3, and you just cut it up one. So it's simple. But anyways, I've realized that I believe that's one of the biggest things that creates conflict in any scenario, is that we're taught the emotional body is always incorrect. And as long as you are taught the emotional body is incorrect, you're never going to be able to accept your feelings. You're always going to think that your feelings are too much, you're too much, you feel too much, right? But that's something that you have to remember, that the people who think your feelings are too much, it's because they don't know how to feel their feelings. It's a reflection, right? And that's how the universe speaks. So whenever you have a moment of where you feel like your emotions are too much, it's being reflected back to you. Like people are saying your emotions are too much. It's actually about accepting it and saying, no, I don't care if the whole world tells me I was wrong for walking away. I don't care. I'm a human being who loves deeply, who feels deeply. And I'm not ashamed to say that I can be sensitive. But what is sensitive? Like, that's just the word. Like, these labels, like, just like a title of, of anything at a job. It's something that somebody created and a bunch of people followed in line and made it so. At one point in time, it didn't exist. Just like autism, right? Just like AIDS, just like all kinds of things, right? They were there, but they just didn't have names, right? Like, that's the one that makes me laugh, is about, like, the autism. You see a lot of people constantly making, oh, well, you can see that why they're autistic, you can see this, you can see that. It's like, leave the people alone. That's a fucking type. Someone is, just because someone has a form of autism, that's not just who they are. It's like, that's ridiculous. It's the same as, like, I have lupus, but I am not lupus. Like, you know what I mean? Or like someone who has diabetes, or someone who has cancer, or heart trouble. Yeah, I walk in and I am lupus. What? Those things, they're traits that we hold, but it doesn't make you, that's all you are. It's a part of you. And that's what people need to understand. Is just like, I see people get mad because people can be so different day to day. But why would you want to be one thing? Like, I have so many interests, and I know people will, like, look at me like, how do you keep up? It's because everything's intertwined, everything is connected, the neurons are connected. So to me, it's all one pattern, it's all intertwined in my mind. It's not something that is separate. So therefore, it's easy to me because it makes logical sense. But to somebody else who doesn't understand that the neurons are connected, and the majority of everything out there has some shape, way, or form connected to the next thing, like math, science, music, do you understand? Medical, they all overlap with each other. So if you understand more concepts of each thing, it becomes easier to know the next thing because they keep building the foundation on each other. You hear my dumb neighbors? They'll do this until like 5 in the fucking morning. Play music till like 5 in the morning. Lovely, right? Isn't it good? Just look at her. Just, oh, look at the camera. Come on. Look at the camera. Show them how beautiful you are. Oh, you're a feisty little brat. You're a feisty little baby brat. She's like, Mom, leave me the fuck alone right now. Leave me alone, mommy. But for anybody out there who has struggled with feelings like me, I want you to know, whatever feeling it is, whatever happens, it's about accepting there's nothing wrong with you. You're not too much. Your feelings are not too much. The people who have told you that are people who can't filter their own emotions. They've never looked in the mirror. And that's the truth. And as long as they refuse to look in the mirror, you will always be too much because they themselves are too much for their own self. And if you are too much for your own self, you are never going to be able to handle somebody else. Think about it. When your emotions are overwhelming, right? Can you handle someone else's emotions on yours? No, because you're already overwhelmed, right? So, that's what I had to understand about how I grew up. I could never understand why no one cared about my emotions. The person who was supposed to nurture me only cared about my brother's emotions and would tell me that all the time, that my emotions didn't matter. And then I realized that it didn't have to do with me, and that she didn't know how to filter her emotions. She barely knew how to filter my brother's emotions. And she felt that his emotions were more, what do you want to say? How do you want to say it? Needing. He needed her more than I did. And that she could only help one. Which is sad, right? So it forced me to have to try to filter emotions from a very young age in a household where emotions were wrong. Where I was actually physically being punished for emotions. Physically being tortured for emotions. For when I had them. So it made it a very complicated thing. Because like I always had mainly guy friends because girls just never like really got along with me too well because they always would put me in competition. And I always was friends with men because they were just easier, and to be honest, I wasn't out sleeping with anybody, so just there was like no drama, right? I'm not having sex with anybody, so there's no drama, right? The only times drama would come in is when, you know, the girls would come in and try to create drama, which that did happen. But if it was just me and my guy friends, there was nothing going on. And I always had guy friends. We'd always go out to the bars and chill and bullshit, right? But that's why I like to hang out with guys, because it's easier, it's calmer. But I'm sure that there's women out there who are not chaotic. I think that's like one of the biggest things I struggle with is women who, even like my friends, they want to compete with me, and it's like, if you're my friend, we can both be. You know what I mean? We can both be. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. You're so good. Oh, Stacy, baby. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. See, the weens aren't getting mad. I mean, Cash might bark a little bit and get jealous. Mother, are you okay, Carter, mother? He's just giving me the eyes. He's giving me the hammy look. Also giving mommy the hammy look. Doing this. She's so pretty, but see, she just sleeps by the babies. She actually sleeps under the covers. It's so cute. Oh, I love you. You're so precious. Oh. No, goodness. Look at her. She's just beautiful. You're going to show your eyes? See your beautiful green little eyes? She has like the most beautiful green little eyes. Huh. I think she's about 7 weeks old. She was the runt, and she got tossed out. And I wasn't going to let anything happen to her. So I took her. So, God, she's cute. She reminds me of my cat in high school. So I had this cat that was black with like white socks. And I named her Meowie because from the moment that I got that cat, all she would do is the second she would see me, is meow, meow. And so I named her Meowie because literally she spoke so much, right? And it makes me laugh because Bassett does the same thing. Literally the second that I walk out of the room, meow, she follows me. I never thought a cat would follow me to the bathroom. I'm used to my dogs following me to the bathroom in the middle of the night. But now I have a cat. I got a trio. It's like Jungle Book, you know the part 1, 2, 3, 4, in the original cartoon with the elephant. I have a wicked memory. But that's what it reminds me of now in the middle of the night, trailing with 3 animals following me to the bathroom. Meows and 2 doggies. Threatened by my feet. It's just a little complicated because I don't want to step on the black little babies. And she's so little. Oh, she's so little. If you can't tell, I like animals. They just give you unconditional love, right? They don't tell you your feelings are too much. They don't. Oh. But, yeah. That's something that I've worked on, is just accepting the emotional body of who I am. That even though I got deemed the word sensitive, I don't have to accept that word. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't have to accept any title I don't want to. Just because someone else perceives it that way, those are the people who don't know how to handle emotions, right? So if someone who goes, oh, you're sensitive, well, it's because I guarantee you, behind closed doors, when someone says something, they're crying like a little bitch. But they don't want you to think that because they got to put on their exterior of, I'm a badass. But in reality, they don't know how to filter anything. And the person who's sensitive, that allows herself to feel, they move on. Because why? They feel it. They understand it. Because when you actually feel an emotion, it releases from your body. When you refuse to feel the emotions that are coming up, because you're a human being, it only stays trapped inside your body and becomes trauma in that area of your body. And anytime that emotion gets triggered, and it can get triggered from anything, your body's going to react, your nervous system, your mind is going to react, and you're going to emotionally react the more the energy has been put into it, meaning the emotions. The more that you have had an emotion that you have ignored, the more emotionally reactive you will be when that emotion gets triggered. So I'll explain it this way. When I left my family, I had so much anger and rage from my life being taken from me, from choices being taken from me, right? That anytime I got told no, anytime that something didn't go my way, it wouldn't matter how little it was, it felt horrific to me. It felt like I was being punished, because that was the point. My parents would purposely control my life and tell me no. My abuser would, as a form of punishment. Knew that I wanted to do something, knew that I loved something, and so didn't want me to be happy, didn't want me to be loved, so would purposely deny me the things that I love as a form of like punishment, right? And then would sit there and tell me that God was punishing me, right? So as a child, you're always having that happen to you. So as an adult, you end up with anger and rage. Why? Because your choices were taken. And when someone's choices are taken, that emotion has nowhere to go. And then you're constantly told that you're not allowed to feel anything about it. Like, my choices were taken from me, and then not only were my choices taken from me, I was told I wasn't allowed to feel anything for my choices being taken away. If I got sad, if I got upset, if I got angry, if I got anything, I would get even more punished. and be even more mentally harmed. So it was a cycle of viciousness, of just literally the rage being staying inside my body from not being allowed to have choices, and then also the not being allowed to filter, not being allowed to have an emotion. So I'm fighting all of these things. I'm fighting every emotion, literally every single emotion, even happiness. Because my abuser was the type to where if you go sit down and watch a movie and let's say it's a comedy and you're having fun, that's the moment that the shoe's going to drop and he's going to attack and cause a fight. That's the household that I grew up in. If he saw people having fun, he would ruin it. He did not like people to have fun. Misery loves company, right? And so when you're raised in that, your body doesn't know safety. So you have to retrain the nervous system. You have to retrain the emotional body. You have to retrain your mind to be okay and quiet. And let me tell you what, it takes a while. It really does. It took me quite a couple years to be able to set completely in silence. But now I actually enjoy silence. It used to be to where I couldn't go without music being played, even for like 10 seconds. If I would get in a car and music wasn't being played, I would freak out. I would freak out. If I was, no matter what it was, I had to have a TV on. I was always making music. But I would freak out. But now I'll come home from something and I'll just set in complete silence and allow spirit, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, talk to me. You know what I mean? Connect to me, right? To what I'm trying to actually feel, trying to actually understand, trying to actually perceive what's going on in my life, right? Because once again, the only way that you really connect to God is when you are in silence. But most people are afraid of silence because the moment that they sit down, the things that they're avoiding are being shown to them. And most people are taught to be ashamed of the things that they haven't faced. But I'm going to tell you something. When you are ashamed of the things that you haven't faced, you become narcissistic because you can't be wrong. And when you can't be wrong, nobody's going to want to be around you, right? It's going to get to the point to where nobody's going to want to be around you. Because nobody wants to be around someone where no matter what is happening, their opinion is right, their way is right, their way or the highway. No. Life is about compromising. Life is about love. And love is unconditional. Love, true love is free. Love doesn't bind. Love frees you. Love makes you want to be a better person. It makes you the better version of who you are. Because when you truly love someone, even when that person makes a mistake, does the wrong thing, you see yourself. It might not be the exact same way, but when you learn to love yourself in what we're taught is wrong, then you have no trouble loving someone else in their moments of darkness. Now the key point is that can the person do the same for you? The balance, right? Because that's where it becomes a imbalanced relationship, is if that person is in darkness and you're the light, but when you need the light in your darkness, they offer none. No help. That's an unbalanced relationship. That's when you know that it's not correct. When you find the person who can offer you the light, the lantern, in your deepest, darkest moment, truly see you, give you the love, give you the compassion, that's the right relationship.